Where do we go with all of this? Oh my God, everything's collapsing, guys. The trade is over. None of it is over, okay? None of it is over. uh, they are systematically getting some people out in a niche market. Who gives a shit if some people were leveraged in a market on a company that is Korean? Sandisk is not Korean, okay? Micron, I'm not invested in Micron. To my knowledge, it is not Korean. Sandisk is headquartered in California, okay? It has manufacturing in Japan and a few other places, and it's building more in America, okay? It has nothing to do with Korea. Doesn't matter. And last time I checked, when your competitors are crashing, which they're not, by the way, the SK Hynix posted record-shattering earnings. They far surpassed all expectations other than some random analysts who expected literally that they went to the sun and back. When you're, but let's put that aside. Let's pretend it was bad. Let's pretend it was horrible and deserving of a crash. When your competition fails, you rise. Okay? If you put your competitor out of business, that's not even happening at all, but let's pretend. You put your competition out of business, your stock falls too? No. You steal their market share and you take their clients. When those banks collapse, SBNY and First Republic and all these fucking banks, when they collapsed, who came in and took their banks? What was that Czech or that Swiss bank that was around for 200 years? It collapsed. It just gets absorbed by UBS. All their clients, all their everything, these get taken by the competition. When Spirit Airlines went down, did those routes go away? And all those people, there's just no one to service them anymore? Duh. JetBlue took them. Alaskan took them. American Air took them. United took them. Delta took them. You don't just the customers don't go away. The amount of businesses who have to compete each get stronger. If I take a pie, and now instead of 6 people coming for dinner, only 5 people are coming, we can each have a bigger share of the pie. Okay? So even if there was an issue in Korea where stocks were selling off, great, perfect, thank you, awesome, amazing, love to hear it. Because now the American companies, they don't have any fucking exposure to any of the bullshit going on over there whatsoever, can prosper. Okay? I bought the dip today. Again, I bought as it went down. I didn't even sell my position. The reason normal trading would dictate if you know a stock is going to fall, you sell it, and then you just buy it lower, and you don't avoid that massive L. There's some misconception that you have to hold your position and then just lose a bunch of money. You don't. Did I do that today myself? Did I do that 2 weeks ago? Yes. Why? Because the stock can rip 250 in a day and 350 in a day. And you don't want to be on the tail end of selling and then trying to protect your downside. So you sell and then it hits a support and literally takes off, never to be seen from again. And why am I mentioning this? Well, I don't know. Today, who the hell was it? Oh God, they have 15.5 billion assets under management. I don't know what. Evercore, goddamn mosquitoes, gives a $3,100 price target, a 110% increase on the stock. $3,100, 110% increase from the previous, and says there's upside to 4,000. Doesn't save the stock. Doesn't matter. Apparently, the world ignores that. Apparently, the market doesn't seem to understand that Micron and SanDisk and STX and Western Digital and NVIDIA and SK Hynix and all these companies, they're different companies, derp. They're not the same ticker. So if news affects one, it's called, you know, there's obviously some overlap, but I mean, let's get real, let's get honest here. When the majority of analysts, okay, you had Susquehanna is at 32.50. If I butchered that, whatever, I don't really care. I think I said it correctly. Their price target's 32.50. The stock is 16.50. That's virtually 100% upside. Okay, 16 times 2 is 32, guys. That's 100% upside. These are year-end targets, mind you. Year-end, okay? I'm sorry I get angry, but it's fucking annoying to wake up to like a 30K loss throughout the day, 35K, because of some Korean bullshit that is irrelevant and changes nothing about the situation. Then you have, what do you have? You have, who's the other one with a 3,200? Berenstein, 3,200. The analyst average price target on this stock is approaching over 3,000. Every new update that comes is over 3,000, except for one recently that was 2,500, which I would call utterly conservative, but it's fine. 2,500 would be a new all-time high. What are they going to do with this ticker? They're going to get it to 2,500, 3,000, probably over 3,000, and then they're going to stock split. They're not going to dilute. They're just going to split, okay? Because then it's going to be more attractive to everybody. New people that come in are going to go, oh, Sandisk, $300, right? Sounds good. 10 to 1, right? 20 to 1 be 150. I think they would err on the side of like a 10 to 1, something better, so that you have the, like, it's seems strong. It's a nice high number, you know, but still it's not out of reach of the little guy. At the end of the day, there's partial shares that exist regardless. So it doesn't matter what the stock price is. If you want exposure and you have $100, you can buy $100. Your rewards will be in line with how much you are putting on the table. It's really that simple. You put a dollar on the table, goes up 10%, you get 10 cents. You put $100, $10, $1,000, $100, $10,000, $1,000, right? It's all up to you. It doesn't matter what the share price is. Share price has been irrelevant for a very long time because outside of options trading, okay, it's very, very relevant for options trading. When they stock split, the options is gonna suck. I'll tell you that right now. Right now, it's incredible. Like just yesterday, December 16th or 8th, it was like December 18th. The very final December monthly was for, I think it was $2,200, which is still was 300% upside from Friday. Sorry, $300 upside from Friday was $620. Today, the stock fell $235. What happened to the option? It should have only fallen like 50, $100. The option fell $300. So the option fell more than the stock. Play options if you want. I don't know, do whatever you want. I had sold calls to protect my downside. It helped, you know, like six grand on the options today, something like that. So, you know, but that was only for August 7th. They have earnings coming up on the 14th. I believe this is when all of the chip stocks are going to go ballistic, okay? Because the CEO of Samsung has already said we expect to make more. Sorry, Samsung said we made more in this month than in the last 40 years, and the CEO of Sandisk had said, oh, the CEO of, you can't even enjoy it outside in Canada, guys. Fuck. It's cold for 9 months, and then you come out and you get mosquitoes for the other 3. CEO of Sandisk said we expect a 1,900% increase in profit, and I'm pretty sure TSMC just reported hundreds of percent profits. Everyone across the board is reporting record-breaking profits. The Sandisk guy, like, they just got a deal with Meta for billions of dollars Friday. It's Monday, and apparently the whole world forgot. that their customers keep demanding more and more and more and more and more, and they can't. Doesn't matter if it's cyclical or not, in the regards that manufacturing cannot physically keep up with demand, current demand, okay? Current demand, which is going to increase, by the way. The amount of people who want the technology and need the technology and can utilize the technology isn't going to plateau or go down. It's going to continually increase. And there's parts of the world that are coming up from being, what is known as second world into first world. It's all going to increase substantially, parabolic, okay? What was I going to say? They're saying they can't even get any capacity, um, um, they can't even come close to meeting in an increase until 2029. 2029. It's the bad guy. 2029. You see these gold chains? That's how rich you're going to be from these trades. If you have a little bit of cojones and you power through these stupid drops. I did draw it out on the Discord. It could go to 1450, and 1650 looked like it was like 1646 looked like absolute support for the current trend line, with the moving average like 200-day of being, it was like 1451, something along there. That's okay. I don't want to see it go down. I don't. But if it does, whatever. I'll just buy more. I don't care. It's at this point, I don't care. What are you going to buy? Nike, a stock that lost 70% of its um, shareholder money in the last 5 years. Peloton, Mullen, Ford Motor Company. Fucking, what can you buy? You cannot buy anything. There's no good companies other than tech suppliers of hardware and infrastructure, like Lumentum. God, I wish I was in on that at $10, and it's $800 now in 1 year, because they're providing for the NVIDIA chips. They provide optics, even all that's ever changing. What they use, the equipment they use for this new tech, it's ever changing. You got to be on top of it. But what are you going to buy? Like, Caterpillar helps build sites. Look at that stock. Like they literally help. Their equipment builds infrastructure. Their stock. Go have a look at Caterpillar. CAT. Are you gonna buy clothing companies that one day they're hot, the next day no one gives a shit about them? How are your Guess jeans looking? Ask your wife. No one wears that shit anymore. You watch an old movie, go watch Terminator. They're wearing Guess jeans, or any TV show from the 90s, Guess jeans. No one watches it. It's a stock, or it was. I don't even know if it. I know, like during COVID, I had checked it out. I don't know if it's a stock anymore. It probably still is. It's probably under $2 if I had to guess. Okay. My point being, there's very few things to buy. I'm not at all concerned here. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed you ripped to 1900 after already going down to 1500. And here we are again. And 1900 wasn't a new high, guys. 2335 was the high here, and we touched it like 2 or 3 times. That was like double, triple top. That was a signal to unwind the position a bit. I had been making money on Sndk for months, okay? Mostly in the last few weeks, until 2 weeks ago, right? And now it's like, now you're managing a position that is constantly having $200 to $300 rips in either direction. It's very aggravating. I can understand some of you out there might be in the same position, being super annoyed, because you might actually have a decent chunk of money, and you might actually have that money sitting in one of these tickers, Micron or Sndk. It's the same thing on Micron, guys. They're getting $1,500 price targets. Stock is sitting under $900. Do the math. Do you want to buy Apple at all-time highs when they have literally zero innovation and nothing going on? Or do you want to buy companies like Sndk and Micron that have nothing but free cash flow, tons of money on the balance sheet, no debt, exploding revenue, exploding demand from customers, clients, industry, the world globally, not just local markets. Everything about them is saying unprecedented, never before seen, unexpected, right? That's where my money's at. I will continue to buy the dips until I run out of money. And if I run out of money, I will cash advance my credit cards on this one. I'm no jokes. No jokes. These stocks make AMC and GameStop look like a joke. GameStop had nothing on these stocks and no staying power. These stocks have staying power. No one cared. No one cared about the Korean Stock Exchange before 3 weeks ago. No one cared about it during any of the meme stock rallies. Nobody cared about the Japanese yen during any of those rallies. Nobody's going to care about the German markets. Whatever market they're going to try to cling to, nobody cares about London open or London close. No one gives a shit. It's all designed to get your shares or cause you to make an action or reaction to a headline. That's it. The only thing that matters is U.S. markets, and that's coming from a Canadian. U.S. manufacturing coming from a Canadian. U.S. Global supply and demand. Global supply and demand. That is a thing. Okay, but we know that that's protected for like 4 years. And ask yourself this. I will leave on this point. Who would it benefit for them to increase supply? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Why would they increase supply? Why? There's no benefit to them. They're increasing RAM prices 20% a month. A month! 20%. RAM that used to cost $90 is $600. I have old RAM from my last laptop. I got to put it up on Facebook Market because it's worth tons. I took it out and upgraded well before this happened. I bought a Micron 2 terabyte a hard drive before this happened. It's exploded in price. It doesn't. There's no benefit to these companies to increase supply. There's no reason. They're getting sued for price manipulation. Here's how this works, okay, guys? Canadian beef is so overpriced, we now import Australian beef. Hey, okay? And they just got sued for 11 years. And shocker, the Liberals have been in government for 11 years. Just got sued, class action lawsuit, and lost. Okay, so it's already done. They got class action sued for a whopping $8 million for 11 years of price gouging Canadians. Beef is up like 200% here, guys. Like, I don't think you understand. Can you imagine the cost of food in this fucking country where we have short growing seasons, limited growing? We don't barely grow hardly any fruits, berries and apples. Limited growing opportunities, and beef skyrocketing. Chicken skyrocketed because they manufactured avian flu 500 fucking times in the last few months. So every farmer had to kill all their chickens. 25-cent chicken wings are now $2 chicken wings. For a chicken wing, $2. 800% up. Okay. My point being is those prices are never falling. They're never going to fall. And $8 million for 11 years of price fixing when your beef has gone up 200%. That's like 13 cents per Canadian, guys. There's like 50 million Canadians. I don't know. Do the math. 8 million divided by 55 million. Just pay the fine and not give a shit and keep doing. Zero repercussions. Zero repercussions. Fines, by the way, are mostly for poor people. A rich person isn't going to care if they get fined because they're rich and they can pay the fine. A poor person's going to care because they don't have the money to pay, and it's going to add up, pay all these extra. Fine is for poor people. The only way to fix that would be to jail the people, that were responsible, put them in jail and take their life away like they have hurt so many other people in this country, and close the businesses that participated in it, allowing businesses that didn't participate into it or had nothing to do with it a chance to thrive and prosper and conduct ethical business practices and ethical business services. Nah, but we don't want to do that because Canada loves fraud. And it starts at the top, baby, and it doesn't stop. I see that Nick Shirley guy down in the States exposing more fraud down there. It's unbelievable, the amount that is going on. So there is no incentive, even if they are colluding. And I'm not suggesting that they are. I just think they've just demand surged, and no one was ready for it. They had talked about it. They were like, man, this is really picking up. This is good. We got to pivot. We're going to do this, this, and this. And it just has been the stars have aligned over and over and over and over repeatedly for these companies, and no one was ready for it. I don't think they're colluding on the price at all. That is supply and demand. And when they finally get these new manufacturing facilities online in 4 years, in 2030, why we are worrying about that today, July of 2026, I don't fucking know. But when they finally get that online, are they going to lower the prices? No, because that will be the norm. That's inflation. That's the norm. New tech will also be more expensive. Any new tech is leaps and bounds more expensive than existing tech. It's always been that way, right? And eventually it starts to come down. Like, look at TVs, though, right? Remember what a flat screen TV used to cost when you were upgrading from a CRT. It was insane, right? You know, I paid $5,000 for my TV in 2013. Still works, still using it. It's a fucking good TV from Samsung, right? But new TVs of the same sort of caliber are like 2,000 to 3,000. You know, it's not your average baseline bottom TV. It has so many. It's like a 3D TV. It has all these features. It has features that like barely existed 10 years ago that are still being implemented today, right? Like web surfing and all this stuff. Like that was barely existed. So imagine memory right now, but imagine in 4 years what the world is going to need, the speeds, all the price of raw materials are going to skyrocket even further as this gets further and further along. 2030, all you got to do, guys, put your tinfoil hats on, is look at all of the 2030 sort of New World Order bullshit. Some big shit is coming for 2030. It's not going to be good for everyday people. It's it's going to be great for companies that stand to benefit from whatever is going to be happening in those times. But as far as tech goes, supply, raw material, none of that's ever coming down. And the demand for better products and better materials and is going to become more and more. And the niche, the amount of companies that can actually produce results, produce high-end products for people is not really going to increase, because the startup capital required for these things, you're not opening a pizza shop, guys. You're trying to produce wafers and technology that's very specific, hard to manufacture, requires a lot of research and development to go into it. The startup capital simply is extremely high, and very few companies can actually get into that space and do anything about disrupting it. So here is the video that should have sort of been released 2 weeks ago, which we're kind of back in the same spot again. Could go down to 1450. Please God, no. But if it does, doesn't matter. We'll literally be buying more. Again, like, so if every analyst is saying over 3,000, does that mean that's where it's going? No. Does that mean, what does that mean? Well, to me, it means every single analyst on this stock, especially all of the 5-star analysts that have 70% win rates that literally are in the know, every one of them will have to be wrong for this to keep going down and never go to these prices. They'll just all have to be wrong. They'll all have to tarnish their reputation. They'll all have to tarnish their company's reputation, and I just don't see that happening. I see it going to be a massive win for the analysts, for the institutes that are talking about it, that are loading, and for the people that have the patience to hold and the grit and the guts and the stomach for it. Because my God, you are going to be chugging Pepto Bismol if you hold Micron or Sandisk free.